Hello students, we were studying chapter number 8, that is body movements. What are the different topics that we studied in our previous session? We have studied two different types of joint. First was hinge joint. What is hinge joint? Hinge joint shows back and forth movement in our body. Where is the hinge joint located in our body? Hinge joint is found in elbow, knees, finger, toes and ankle. Then we have studied about fixed joint. What is fixed joint? As the name suggests, fixed joints are the joints that are fixed. They do not show any movement. Many bones are present in our head region. They are fixed. They do not show any movement. The skull protects the important part of our body, that is brain. Then we have studied about carpals. What are carpals? Our finger is made up of several small bones. These bones are known as carpals. Our backbone is made up of small bones, and these small bones are known as vertebrae. 33 vertebrae are present in our backbone. Then we have studied about rib cage. What is rib cage? The chest bone and the backbone are joined together to form a box-like structure, and this box-like structure is known as a rib cage. Rib cage encloses and protects lungs and heart. We have also studied about the shoulder bone and the pelvic bone. Then we have studied about cartilage. What is cartilage? Like bones, as bones are hard and they cannot be bent, the cartilage is soft and can be bent. We have seen that cartilage is present in the upper part of our ear. So let us begin with this session. Skeleton is made up of many bones, joints and cartilage. Our skeleton is made up of different bones, joints and cartilage. What makes the bone move the way they do? So our bones move. What makes our bone to move? To study the movement of our bone, we will perform an activity. I will request you to simultaneously do this activity so that you will get the things more clearly. Make a fist with one hand, bend your arm at the elbow and touch your shoulder with the thumb. What you have to do is make a fist with one hand, bend your arm and now try to touch your shoulder with the thumb. Do you see change in the upper arm? You will observe some of the changes in your upper arm. What change you will observe? You will observe a swollen region in the upper arm. You will see the swollen region in your upper arm. This swollen region is a muscle. So, muscle bulged due to the contraction. So, when the contraction is there, the muscle bulges out. Similar contraction of muscles is observed in the legs when we walk or run. So, during walking or running, the muscles contract. When contracted, the muscle becomes shorter, stiffer and thicker. So, when the muscles are contracted, the muscle becomes short, stiff and thick. It pulls the bone. Muscles work in pairs. When one of them contracts, the bone is pulled in that direction, the other muscle of the pair relaxes. What happens? Muscle always work in pair. When one of them contracts, the bone is pulled in that direction. When one muscle contracts, the bone moves in that direction, while the other muscle of the pair relaxes during that time. To move the bone in the opposite direction, the relaxed muscle contracts to pull the bone towards its original position, while the first relaxes. Now if we have to move the bone in the opposite direction, the another pair of the muscle which was relaxed, it will contract so that the bone will pull towards that original position, while the first muscle will relax at that time. A muscle can only pull, it cannot push. Thus, two muscles have to work together to move a bone. So, we have studied that to move a bone, the muscle works in pair. That if one of the muscle contracts, the bone gets pulled towards that muscle, while the other muscle relaxes at that time. So, muscles can only pull, they cannot push the bone. Are muscles and bones always required for the movement? Do we require the bones and muscles for our movement? Yes. How do animals move? Do all animals have bones? What about earthworms or a snail? In our first session of this chapter, we have studied the different ways in which animals move from one place to another using their different body parts. So, how do the animals move? Do all of them have bones? And what about the earthworms or a snail? So, we will study the gait of the animals, that is, the movement shown by the animals. So, let us study with the earthworms first. Observe an earthworm moving on a soil in a garden. So, have you ever observed an earthworm? The body of the earthworm is made up of many rings joined end to end. So, how is the body of the earthworm? The body of the earthworm is made up of many rings that are joined from one end to the another. An earthworm does not have bones. Earthworms do not have bones. So, how do the earthworm move? It has muscles which help to extend and shorten the body. So, earthworm do not have bones, but it has muscles. So, what do the muscles do? Muscles helps the earthworm to extend and shorten its body. During the movement, the earthworm extends the front part of the body, keeping the rear portion fixed to the ground. So, how do the earthworm move? While moving, the earthworm extends the front part of the body, keeping the rear portion fixed to the ground. You can see in the image, while walking, the earthworm extends the front part of the body, while the rear portion of the earthworm's body remains fixed to the ground. Then it fixes the front end and releases the rear end. After that, the earthworm fixes its front end to the ground and then releases its rear end. It then shortens the body and pulls the rear end forward. After that, the earthworm shortens its body and pulls the rear end in the forward direction. This makes it move forward by the small distance. So, by doing this, the earthworm moves the small distance. Repeating such muscle expansion and contraction, the earthworm can move through the soil. So, when the muscles of the earthworm expands and contracts, the earthworm moves through the soil. Its body secretes a slimy substance to help the movement. So, the body of the earthworm secretes a slimy substance that helps in the movement of the earthworm. How does it fix parts of its body to the ground? We have studied that while moving, when the front part of the earthworm is extended, the rear portion of the earthworm's body remains fixed to the ground, or vice versa. How is it possible for the earthworm to fix its body part to the ground? Under its body, it has a large number of tiny bristles projecting out. So, the body of the earthworm has a large number of tiny bristles, that is hair-like projections, projecting out of its body. The bristles are connected with the muscles. So, these bristles are connected with the muscles. The bristles helps to get a good grip on the ground. So, these bristles helps the earthworm to get a good grip on the ground. So the body of the earthworm remains fixed on the ground. The earthworm eats through the soil. Its body then throws away the undigested part of the material that it eats. This activity of the earthworm makes the soil more useful for the plants. We have studied that the earthworm moves in the soil. So the earthworms eat through the soil and then throws the undigested part of the material that it eats in the soil. So this activity of the earthworm is very useful for the plants as they make the soil more fertile. And even the earthworms are known as the farmer's best friend. Now let us study the movement of the snail. Observe a snail in your garden or a field. Have you ever seen the snail? How does it look like? Have you seen the rounded structure it carries on its back? You might have observed that the snail has the rounded portion on its back. What does this round structure is? The rounded structure on its back is called as a shell, and it is the outer skeleton of the snail, but it is not made of the bones. So the shell is the outer skeleton of the snail, but the shell is not made of the bones. The shell is a single unit and does not help in moving from place to place. It is dragged along. So the shell does not help the snail to move from one place to another, but it is dragged along with the snail. Now to study the movement of the snail, we will see the activity. Place the snail on a glass plate and watch it. What we have to do? We have to see the movement of a snail by placing it on a glass plate. When it starts moving, carefully lift the glass plate along with the snail and observe its movement. Once the snail will start to move, lift the glass plate and observe its movement. A thick structure and a head of a snail may come out of an opening in the shell. What you will observe that the thick structure and the head of the snail will come out from the opening of that shell. The thick structure is its foot, made of the strong muscles. So the thick structure that you will see, that you will observe, is the foot of the snail, which is made up of strong muscles. Now carefully tilt the plate. The wavy motion of the foot can be seen. So how does the snail move? The wavy motion of the foot can be seen. Next we will study the movement of a cockroach. How does the cockroach move? You might have seen the cockroach. Cockroaches can walk, climb and as well as fly in the air. They have the 3 pairs of legs. In the image you can see the 3 pairs of legs that help the cockroaches in walking. The body is covered with a hard outer skeleton. The cockroach body is covered with a hard outer skeleton, and the outer skeleton of the cockroach is made up of number of plates that are joined together that permits the movement. So how it is possible for the cockroach to move? As the body of the cockroach consists of the hard outer skeleton, which is made up of number of plates that are joined together that allows the cockroaches to move. They have 2 pairs of wings attached to the body behind the head. You might have seen the cockroaches have the wings also. So where these wings are attached, the cockroaches have the 2 pairs of wings that are attached to the body behind their head. The cockroaches have the distinct muscles. Cockroaches have the 2 different muscles, those near the legs which moves the legs for walking, the muscles that are present near the legs that helps the cockroaches for walking, and the body muscles move the wings when it flies. So the body muscles help to fly the cockroach, and the muscles that are present near the legs helps the cockroach for walking. So what we have studied today? We have studied about the muscles. How muscle help in the movement of the bones. Then we have studied the movements in earthworm, snail and cockroaches. So I hope the topics that we covered today are understood to you. We will continue with this chapter in our next session.